Hi guys, Josh here, and recently a new trailer and a ton of previews came out for Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, and with those, we learned a lot of new information on this upcoming game. In this video, I'd like to discuss with you over 10 little details that I found interesting, things I've noticed that could be easy to miss, differences from the original Harvest Moon Grand Bazaar on the DS. All of these tiny things I care about since I'm obsessed with this series. If you are too, I think you will like this video. If you do, leave a like on it, it helps me a lot. And one last thing before we start, most of the footage I use in this video is from the IGN and Noisy Pixel previews. I'm also using some information from an interview done by Gematsu with the series manager Hikaru Nakano. I will have links to all of these sources in the description, but now let's get into it. First of all, this one might sound very basic if you've not played the original game, but it is such a welcome change. We will finally have a radio to let us know the weather forecast. In the original Grand Bazaar, you never knew whether it was going to be sunny, rainy, or even stormy the next day, but with this remake, we will have a radio for that, with a lovely host called Shireen, who will tell us everything we need to know. This will be especially important when hurricanes are coming, as we will be able to install windscreens to protect not only crops on the farm, but also certain resources around like beehives and mushrooms. I love to see this because I've been feeling a big lack of consequences or difficulty with newer entries in the series where you can never really mess up or lose anything. In the older games, storms would damage your crops and your animals, making it very important to keep an eye on the weather forecast. Now, these mechanics are making a bit of a comeback. It's hard to tell if animals can get sick or pass away in this one, but we will have a way to protect our crops. Who knows how difficult these windscreens will be to obtain or how damaging the storms will be, but I do appreciate this added element of planning. Of course, the wind will also play a big role in other parts of the game, as it will affect your gliding and how your windmills perform. Speaking of these windmills, just like in the original game, you will unlock them as you progress, and they are where you will process materials to make stuff like cheese, yarn, fertilizer, all of that. They are so much more convenient than having to deal with dozens of different makers, but what I would like to focus on here is this storage. In the original, you had storage in your house where you could put pretty much anything, it was pretty convenient, but going back and forth from your house to the windmills or the bazaar could get tedious over time. Here we have these storage boxes with some sort of green magical orb inside. They are placed in various strategic locations around the farm and Zephyr Town, and if you pay attention here, you will see that they all contain the same items, meaning they are connected to each other, making it way easier to access your stuff or to put things away when your inventory is full. While we're in here, in the inventory you can see that there is a sort and an organize button. If you have played Pioneers of Liftown, you know how not having those was annoying. It looks like the developers learned from their mistakes and we will be getting a ton of quality of life features like this one. Last thing with the storage, there is a basket in front of the house. In the original game, you can grab it and any item you put inside is automatically transferred to your storage. It is a very convenient feature and I like to see that it is still here. Now let's have a look inside the house. The layout is pretty much the same, but there is now a dresser and a closet, which will let us change our appearance. And yes, you can choose your gender in this game and marry any of the bachelors and bachelorettes. The vase is still there near the entrance, it is used to display flowers. At the back of the house is the kitchen, on the left is the storage, and on the right, directly connected to the living room, is the barn where large and small animals happily coexist. There is a bathroom connected to the kitchen that is used to restore some stamina once a day. In the original, there was also a toilet, so it seems like this time they just combined them, but for the most part, the house is not too different. In a new trailer that was just released today, we can also see the basement, which acts as a greenhouse, but in this game, instead of growing things from all seasons all at once, it only simulates one season at a time that you can change. And with that new trailer, we got the announcement of the game releasing for the Nintendo Switch 2. We should be able to buy an upgrade from the Switch 1 version. Not sure at this moment if they will be making a separate physical edition, but we can expect a slightly better performance, sharper graphics, and knowing that the microphone is back with the Switch 2, maybe we will be able to blow into our console like we did with the Nintendo DS to give a boost to our windmills. This is just a guess, but we will have to wait for more information to come out. Now let's go back outside and talk about the bazaar. This is where you will sell most of your stuff. It takes place every Saturday between 10 AM and 7 PM, and this time it looks like there will be a distinct morning shift from 10 AM to 2 PM, and another one from 3 to 7, whereas in the original game you could simply open and close as often as you wanted throughout the day. During those 2 shifts, there will be a button to close the stand, so most likely you will be able to finish early, but I wonder if you will then have to wait for the next shift to start, or if you can just reopen right away. These are all very small details that probably won't matter too much in the end. In the original game, most of the time, whenever I closed the shop, it was simply to get more stuff at home. Now, since the storage will be easily accessible directly from the bazaar, it shouldn't be a problem. But I am curious to see if there will be any differences between the morning and afternoon shifts. One way in which they will definitely make the bazaar more interesting is through customization. Not only will you be able to add more tables to sell more items like in the original game, this time there's also going to be tents, tables, and decor items with various effects. So you could have, for example, one table where the fish becomes more popular, a tent that increases the price of all of your items, things like that, which once again, even though the bazaar mechanics are pretty simple, should add a tiny layer of strategy and will maybe allow you to specialize in certain products. Something else adding a bit of a challenge is the freshness mechanic, unique to Grand Bazaar and still present in this new version. Basically, any crop, fish, or other perishable product goes from super fresh to rotten over time. The process can be slowed down by putting things in storage, and it also varies depending on the season, so for example, things go bad a lot faster in summer than in winter. While this may sound stressful at first, and I know not everybody likes it, in my opinion, it really suits the loop of this specific game, where your goal is to have as many fresh products as possible, just in time for selling them on Saturday at the bazaar. In most of the other games, you can simply hoard things forever, you put them in the shipping bin whenever you want, which is fun as well, but here things feel different, it's a bit more strategic. You have to make conscious decisions in order to be successful at the bazaar. It creates this very satisfying and engaging loop every week, and it makes the storage a very important part of the game. I have a feeling they might be making it a bit easier. Maybe they could give us different difficulty settings. I think that would be the best way to do it. I would love to hear your thoughts on this mechanic, but personally, I am glad they decided to keep it as it is one of the things that make Grand Bazaar unique. To make all of this even more interesting, there will now also be seasonal trends where certain items will be more popular for a limited time. For example, here the player received a letter telling them that this season, gemstones, white crops, dyes, and pink things will see a boost in sales. First, yes, we can check our mail directly from the menu. We will go through some other letters in just a minute, but I think that these seasonal trends will be a really good way to incentivize us to diversify and maybe sell things we wouldn't produce too much of otherwise, and I think that's a great idea. With these 4 items I just listed, you may have noticed the white crops and pink things. Usually the color of items is not too important in these games, but here every character has a favorite color which you can see in the relationships tab. So not only will you most likely have to keep that in mind when choosing what color to use when wrapping gifts at the market, just like in the original game, it seems like a lot of items will have a color property to them that you will have to consider when gifting and selling, which again adds just a little something to think about. Now let's have a look at some more of these letters that we can get in the mailbox. My favorite part of these previews is pausing every single frame as they are navigating the menus, as there is so much to learn there. So first, titles, a feature from Pioneers of Lifetown, will be making a comeback. Titles in Story of Seasons are like achievements, so you do a certain thing, and you receive a literal title to put in your profile, but more importantly, a few items as a reward. Another interesting letter is this one, where Felix is reminding the player to water crops twice a day. This is a thing in the original game where you can water crops morning and evening to make them grow a bit faster. It gives a boost to your farming, all while giving you something extra to do at the end of the day. It's not mandatory, and I was curious to see if they are going to keep this mechanic, and yes, they are. Another mechanic they are keeping in is learning recipes by eating, as confirmed by this letter. So let's say a villager gives you food or you buy something at the cafe. Once you eat it, the recipe will be added to your list of things that you can cook from recipe. In the original, you could also cook without a recipe. We don't know yet if that will be back. But in the remake of A Wonderful Life, we could cook with or without a recipe, so it is likely it will be the same here. There's also going to be a Bazaar tab in the menu. As you can see here, there will be 7 ranks in total, and you will rank up by adding stalls and making enough sales. In the original game, there were 5 ranks, each one increasing the popularity of the bazaar and the amount of shops available. Keep in mind, the bazaar is where you also buy most of your things in this game, so with 2 extra ranks, we can expect even more shops. Now let's take a look at the map. First, the town layout is slightly different. There will be more to explore outside of it, and we will be able to see where our requests, as well as story and romance scenes, with these different colored exclamation marks on the map. On one hand, it is convenient, we'll always know where to go in order to progress, but on the other hand, Rune Factory 5 had a similar mechanic, and to me it was a bit annoying. It made cutscenes less surprising or organic as I knew they were going to happen. It also gave me this feeling of wanting to go everywhere just to see the cutscenes and get them off my map, but maybe that's just me. While I have mixed feelings about seeing the scenes on the map, I am glad we'll be able to find requests easily, and requests are new for this remake. In order to progress certain things, like unlocking additional windmills or new shops at the bazaar, we will have to complete requests for other characters. It looks like there will be quite a good number of unique requests with unique rewards, which would be a major improvement from not only the original Grand Bazaar, but most recent entries in the series. Overall, you can tell it's a lot more than just a remake. Yes, the base is the same, but they are adding a ton of content and gameplay. They're also going to be adding characters. I talked a bit more about that in my previous video. We've seen that some of these shops will be taken care of by familiar faces like Ronaldo, formerly known as Ronald from Save the Homeland, who then of course appeared in its remake Hero of the Leaf Valley, as well as Magical Melody. We've also seen Wufio, Rebecca, Pierre, and more, but here's a new one, Charles from Hero of the Leaf Valley, who works for the corporation trying to build a theme park over the player's village in that game. If we're lucky, who knows, we might get to see Alice as well, and this makes me wonder, could there be any possibility of special or secret marriage candidates in this game? I'm not putting my hopes too high, but it would be fun to see. For now, I wouldn't try to read too much into these returning characters, what they mean and if they're hinting at anything or not, but I like that they're here, kind of strengthening the story of Season's lore or universe. It's exciting to see these visitors from previous games, and I am looking forward to seeing what they will say about their hometown and other characters. They're also adding 5 sprites who, as we know, will help us at the bazaar when customers are happy, and will let us sell things faster through this minigame. But some of this footage here shows the player interacting with them. We don't see too much of it, but there is an option to share. With this one, you can share fish. With this one, you can share honey. It's not clear whether you're sharing with them or they're sharing with you. We do have this new currency called Happy Energy. Maybe that plays a part into all of it. Like I've been saying a lot in this video, we don't know too much yet, we'll have to wait and see, but it is something new to get excited for. As you do all of these things, jump and glide around Zephyr Town, you will see these lit up circles on the ground, which look like fast travel points to me, and I also really like how when you're behind a building, there is this transparent circle allowing you to still see where you are. I think that's a brilliant idea, and I am looking forward to finding all of the little secrets and shortcuts that could be hiding in this world. One last thing, quickly, every time I think I'm done with this video, I see something else I want to add, but in a lot of this footage, we can see the player having a limited time level 3 chat friendship boost. It looks like what I think is a necklace icon next to it. I wonder if it's tied to any sort of accessory you can wear, or it could be something else. Maybe it comes from food, maybe it comes from the sprite. But it seems like there will be some sorts of buffs in the game, and I'm very interested to seeing how they work. So these are some of the things I've noticed in the latest previews of Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. Let me know if you have noticed some interesting stuff. If you can't tell, I am so excited for this game. I've been doing frequent live streams of the original DS game. Feel free to join me if you want to get in the mood, see what Grand Bazaar is all about. If you missed it, I also made this video covering the announcement last week. There is more information there, so feel free to watch that. Leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.